What up, y'all? How's it going? BenDeen here. Today is payday, so I'm hitting you with a special mukbang just for y'all and for me, I guess, but mostly for y'all. Honestly, I would never think about ordering this if it wasn't for a video. What I got here is a steak sampler that cost over 100 bones. This was 107 doll hairs, and it consists of 3 different cuts of steak. These look like a little bit smaller cuts than they would usually be, obviously, because it's a sampler, but what I got is a ribeye, a tenderloin, and a New York strip style steak. I got this from a place that I really respect and look up to. I've had their steaks a few times and it's always on point. So I know this is gonna be mighty fine. What I don't know is what it's gonna be like kind of eating these different cuts of steak side by side or back to back, one after the other, because I've never really done that. When I eat steak, usually I'll eat one steak like a normal person, you know? So it should be cool to compare and contrast the different kinds of steaks here. I know I had steak like last month in a video, but I'm at it again. Payday, baby. So let's get into this, man. I'm gonna start off with this New York strip. That's what they're calling it. This is definitely a lot smaller than, but thicker than the New York strip that I'm accustomed to. Oh man, that is smelling something incredible. Let's cut into it. I'm gonna take off this whole end piece right here. As you can see, there's a good amount of fat up on this piece, but some good meat too. I got all these medium rare, by the way, and you know, let's just go in for it. That gets an immediate head nod. And oh yeah, that fat in there is flavor, man. That is flavor. That is what they say, and it's holding up. Sometimes when you get a steak and there's a lot of fat, it can be really tough. Or if you cook it just the right way, it can just be that super buttery, melt in your mouth type of fat. And that's what I'm working with here. That was a good start. We're off to a good start. That was amazing. I think every bite will be a little bit different too as I get into it. Let me go in for another bite of this, actually. One without a little bit less fat, I guess. I don't know, there's still a lot of fat. I don't know if you can see, they're just riddled with fat, but I'm not complaining about that. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Simply amazing. It's gonna be hard to beat. I don't know what I'm expecting out of these other two, but let's get into it. So this is the tenderloin, which I gotta admit, I am a big fan of the tenderloin. Not as much fat. Yeah, right off the bat, you can see not as much fat there at all, more meat. And you know, I am a sucker for this one. Let's compare it though. Completely different. Sorry if I spit. It is very different. It's a different cut of steak, and it tastes very different from the mouthfeel and the texture, mouthfeel, all the way to the flavor as well. It's just a completely different eating experience. Maybe I'm diving into this too far, and usually I probably wouldn't even notice if I was only eating one steak, but comparing them back to back like that, you can really pick up on those little details. Let me go in for another bite of this one. I'm not sure which one I prefer. They're both just really good in their own different ways. You know what I'm saying? This one, like I said, not much fat, but so tender and just meaty, pure meat. I'm gonna have to double back to this one here in a second, but let's try out this one. This is the ribeye. I think this one should have a decent amount of fat in it as well, but there's only one way to find out. You can already see some of the fat on here, on the end here, which, oh, this is some tender fat. Take a big piece of this. So not much fat on this side. I'm getting blown away. My taste buds are under fire right now. God, that was completely different as well. That was a big bite, I gotta admit. But the flavor in that the flavor in that blew my mind for a second there. They'll do some dirty tricks to make the steak better and more flavorful and rich, like butter. I'm not sure how they prepare these. All I know is there was my camera. All I know is that with this bite, there was some kind of rich, super rich, almost nutty flavor that just took over my brain there for a second. Right off the bat, I'm gonna have to say this one might be my favorite flavor so far. Let me get some of this fat in here. Like I said, man, this is gonna be a crazy bite. I don't know if you can really see. Let me try to show you. Fat can be really tough and all that stuff, but look at this. Fork will go right in there. It's tender. It's tender fat. Let's try out this piece. I don't know, man. I can't even pick one. Let me go back to this one. I'm gonna shut up and just not say anything for a minute and just take a bite of each one. I can't pick a favorite. They're all amazing, and it is what it is. It's definitely a treat to be able to eat all these side by side. And again, yeah, I would never think about ordering this for myself if it wasn't for a video. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it. Payday, y'all are probably thinking, yo, so how much money did you make? I can't tell you that. But I will tell you about YouTube. Some of this might be basic info that you already know, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. So if you're a YouTuber, you get paid once a month, which is from Google. It's all right. I don't mind. You know, I think a lot of times in America, there's different pay cycles in different places. I'll just say that. In Korea, usually you get paid once a month as well. And I don't know, you just gotta kind of think about it a little bit differently. How you budget your money. But yeah, so the amount I just got paid was last night, actually. Late last night. Was all the money that I earned from December, last month. And that's how it works. So it'll show up like around the 22nd for me, which could depend on where you live. If you're thinking about starting YouTube or whatever, It goes through AdSense, Google AdSense, which is Google's program to deal with ads and all that kind of stuff. But I think you also need at least $100 in your account, in your AdSense account, before you can withdraw it. I think back in the day, back in the old heydays, YouTubers used to get paid with a check, like a physical check through the mail. But now it's just electronically send it straight to the bank type of stuff, which is good. It's convenient. I will tell you one more thing about YouTube, which you may or may not know. And I'm not even sure if this is 100%, but from my experience doing YouTube over the past, almost 3 years now, end of the year, if you're a YouTuber, the end of the year, especially December, is always the best month. So the money you make in December and that you get paid in January is usually, across the board on average, usually the best month. And then January falls into it takes a nosedive. The reason for that supposedly is how companies will budget their advertising, so especially for the shopping season. Actually, for me, November and December were really good because not only the amount of views that can fluctuate at any time, but the amount of money you get paid for an ad impression, right? So that's always the highest in at the end of the year. I think companies are trying to get out their advertising for the shopping season, and that's when their budget supposedly also ends for the year. So if they got extra cash, extra money to spend on that, they'll just pump it all out. And then once the 1st of January hits, then they're all trying to reorganize and plan for their next year's budget. So that's why January is always a bad month, supposedly. The more steak I'll eat, I'll say one last thing, the more steak that I do eat, the more I like just pure meat. Instead of the fat, I feel is more healthy. So if I was gonna eat like a couple pounds of steak, for whatever reason, I'll probably go with the tenderloin. It's still up there, man. I do still love it. People hate on it, like, oh yeah, there's no fat in there. But I don't know, something about it. Anyway, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I'm gonna skate out of here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.